Alright, we are back live. Welcome to Nick's Racing Channel Late Night. Hope you're enjoying it. I am going to be doing some late night racing here on Gran Turismo 7. Just checking to make sure my microphone is working. It is very good. That's perfect. I'm actually watching Manny right now, one of the YouTubers that I like to watch live stream, also playing Gran Turismo 7. I'm going to close the bedroom door that I'm in. If you're interested, I'm going to be getting a camera tomorrow to upgrade my broadcast on these, because I am enjoying doing this live. Enjoying quite a bit, actually. So I have found that if I want to do it on a more regular basis, it probably would be better if I have a camera and I can sort of chat with folks a little more, you know, a normal way on YouTube, let's say. Anyway, Manny is one of the YouTubers that live streams, and I often try to find them when I start live streaming and playing. I will try to find whoever's live on YouTube and I will see if I can race them somehow so that I can see my car on their screen. That's usually my goal. Oftentimes it seems they are just slightly out of reach in terms of my qualifying time. I do find, however, that late night, because the thing is, you race people regionally on Gran Turismo 7, and you race people on the daily races. You race people regionally and based on your qualifying time. This YouTuber here is obviously in America, because everyone he's racing is in America. I am too, so I think we would probably be able to race if I could get into his qualifying time group, and it looks like he's clocking in somewhere around 157 on the GR3 race right now. So my goal is to always figure out where they're clocking in. See, my record on this is and now I have not driven this track very much, to be honest. And the other thing I wanted to try this time is adjusting, because the one thing I found is that you can adjust the torque. And high end. The torque and the acceleration. I guess my question is, what if I just turned it all the way up? What would happen? Because I swear I think that's what these people are doing. Let's see what happens. I'm very interested. Well, anyway, I haven't raced the GR3 race this week a whole lot. I've been focused mostly on the GR4 race, the 11 lap race this week in the Red Bull Ring. So, I love racing the GR3 races because I have a fun Audi that I tend to use. For all of these. I also have one with a Richard Petty livery on it. Looking forward, but the Audi's my favorite on the GR3. This one I'm doing right now. So I have an in car. But anyway, I've done the GR4 all week, so I haven't gotten good at this track with this car. And that's really the trick to the daily races, right? I mean, that's why they give you time to qualify and so forth. you don't want to go into this race without knowing this track pretty intimately. And knowing it for your car. That's the most important thing. And when I say that, I mean like specifically, what gear are you looking for to carry you through each turn? Go ahead and downshift to that gear as you're getting up to that turn, right? And planning it out for that control. Believe me. These other racers are doing that. A lot of these guys, that's all they do all week long. Just sit down and race this game. I don't know, it feels like they don't have jobs. You see them on here constantly. And I'm on here a lot, I have to be honest. I mean, I work from home, so I'm able to kind of take a break here and there during my work day and race, and then I race after my work day a little bit, so kind of wind down, and then middle of the night, I'll do it. You're looking live at Nick's Racing channel here, Gran Turismo 7. I'm watching another live streamer who is also racing. The goal is to try to race him if possible. He doesn't know it, I'm just giving him fun. Because I hope to be able to see my car on the screen. So that's why I'm doing that. But anyway, that's unfortunately his qualifying time is but not by too much. It's attainable for me. To at least get in the grouping in terms of qualifying time. Really imperative that you learn these tracks, specifically for your car, to be successful in terms of racing multiplayer mode. you never really know what you can get away with in a turn with your car until you kind of tried it out, right? And for me, that's what these practice sessions or these qualifying sessions are all about, especially when you have a lot of time before the next race. It's really just going for it. You know, go into the corner full throttle one time. Just see what happens. It's probably going to be a disaster, frankly. I mean, it's, you know. But what you're going to find out is, like, what gear, you know, is the maximum that you can take into that corner. You know, the maximum speed you can take into that corner, basically, without spinning out or... Yeah, see, so I'm looking at the people on his thing, and the top time there is 1:55. My top time is 1:59. So I'm missing his I'm missing this YouTuber's qualifying time race you know, class or whatever you want to call it, section. Just slightly. It's like, I can almost do it. But that's okay. It's not really why we're doing this. I mean, it is. Kind of. But yeah, I do that. I will go on YouTube, I just did, and you just search for Gran Turismo 7 Live, and you filter for live stream. And you just look for people who are actually racing live, and you'll usually find one or two. And then you try to figure out if you can actually figure out how to race them. Sometimes they're in a multiplayer lobby, and that is very easy, obviously, to join and just race them like that. Or then you try to qualify as quick as you can to catch up or whatever to who you're watching. Sometimes it works out, sometimes not. Either way, we're going to start racing here. Since I'm not racing Manny, I'm going to go over to Frazier. I'm watching some Frazier at the same time. tell you, you lose some serious time sim racing, especially with Gran Turismo, because they, you know, it puts you in sort of a cycle. I've talked about this before, where you're waiting for the next race. So when you try to join the cycle, there's generally a waiting period. You know, you can qualify during that waiting period, but you haven't actually entered the racing cycle. So, you know, once the entry becomes available, there's, you know, 10, 15 minutes or whatever it is, and then the race starts. And then usually once the race is over, there's like a 5-minute waiting period for the next one. So it's just kind of a cycle that you sort of jump into. Wrecked. Another one. I think there's another one. You really got to stay out of the melee, especially on the first lap. Seems to be whatever you turn or corner turns into, and if you just avoid it. That's how I wreck myself. Not driven this track much this week. Qualified at 206. I'd like to get it down to like 158. I'd like to shave off 6 seconds because that's where the most competitive racers become in there. But you gotta drive it a lot to get there. sucks. But I did that to myself. Yes, I am watching another YouTuber here on my phone here, who's also live streaming at the same time. I generally do this. I think it's fun. Unfortunately, his class is just above mine, but you will find that the later it gets, you know, the more varied the qualifying times become, because there's less people playing. So it's possible this next one, you know, we could get paired together. You never know. Meanwhile, we're going to keep trying to better the qualifying time that we have, because this track is interesting. There's quite a few full stop turns, I guess we'll call it, right, where you really got to downshift to first and you know, kind of do a 90-degree turn almost around a corner, a literal corner. You know, there's turns and there's corners, right? There's quite a few in this one that are literal corners. You could peek around, you know, if you're on a sitcom. And there's several of those in succession on this track. Starting here at the very start, so like you can't really build a lot of good momentum to get through a sequence of turns when you gotta come right there. All the way down. There we go. Well, I got up to 204. Now, the other thing I don't know is if they do break it down regionally within, let's say, North America. Yeah, see, I still don't see him on here, so so that makes me think that they do break it down because, well, no, I still see the top end qualifying time is 1:59, and on this stream that I'm looking at here, the top end qualifying time is 1:55. So I'm just not there yet. I've got it down to 2:04. I started at 2:08. I want to get it down to like 1:58. So I need to shave another 6 seconds off. I've already shaved 4 off, so I mean I'm pretty sure I could get probably down to maybe 2 minutes. Not sure if I could get down to 1:58, but I feel like if I could get to 2, I'd probably be able to actually race this guy here. Yeah, that's always a goal for me, you know. Find somebody just a little bit out of your reach and keep moving. It is always interesting to see the quality of racing that you're going to get in the middle of the night. Sometimes it's great. It's always surprising. It's like, you know, all these people are up. I mean, here on the East Coast, at least, it's, you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning right now, but, you know, meaning it's 11 something on the West Coast. So still not too late for those folks over there, but as it gets later and later into the evening, it's always fun to see kind of the quality dipping. But that's good. If you can stick it out into the night, you can find yourself positioning higher and higher as the night goes along. One thing that I think is interesting is that it says that it gives a message to the other racers saying that you're live streaming, because I'm doing my live streaming through the PlayStation. But I have yet to see any message from my account to these other racers saying we're live streaming. And I have seen that message from other racers before. And it's always the same one, so I know it is a standard message. Really fast. You always wonder how those cars are, because on these daily races it does even out your horsepower between the different racers, so it's not like anybody has one singular advantage, even though all the Mazda 3s seem to be somehow over, let's say, OP. You know, they're OP somehow. Even though I've raced one, and I did, I mean, that's how I set my qualifying time with the GR4 race over there. The Mazda 3 is GR4. This is a GR3 race that you're watching, so, you know, forgive me. I've spent most of my time this week, in fact, almost exclusively, on the GR4 race, so I got really good at the Red Bull Ring, but I was trying to catch one of the YouTubers that I'm watching right now, or his qualifying time, or at least catch up to his group. Here on the GR3 race tonight before he signed off. I've yet to be successful with that. I'm almost there top end of his group is 155. Top end of mine is 159. So I'm so close. And I've already shaved 4 seconds off my qualifying time. So I'm definitely getting there, let's say. But this is the first night, and it's a shame because this is the last day of these daily races. They change them on Sundays. I haven't really gotten good at this track. Good lord. But you can see it's a tough track. Like I said, there's a lot of. This is the start of the sequence of turns here. That's pretty smooth to go through. At the start of the race, you've got several 90-degree turns that you got to go through. See how much more competitive you can be when you don't wreck right away, like the last race. It's actually a good race going here, so if you happen to be watching, let me know in the comments what you think. But the daily races I've done multiple times today. This is pretty exciting. And you can tell why I say the longer daily races are a lot better. I mean, the GR4 race right now is 11 laps. This is only 5 laps. I mean, the problem with it is depending on where you start in the lineup. If you're in the back of the pack, you're probably 5 laps. If you're super fast and you got a really good line going, you can get up there to P1. But it's tough, right? It's just not a lot of time. I mean, everybody in this, they pair you intentionally with people who are qualifying right close to your time. So, I mean, ideally, these people that you're racing are likely similar in skill or time, let's say at least. So, unless you're racing, some really incompetent people that just lucked out in their qualifying, with only 5 laps, it's tough to get to P1 from the back of the pack. But with 10 laps, for example, or even 11, which is what the GR4 right now is, you got plenty of time. I mean, you can definitely win that race, even from the very back. Even with all good racers. I'm racing the Audi right now. Audi GR3. Audi Quattro. This is my favorite GR3 car. And not just because I've got it decorated with M&Ms. I collected the M&Ms dispensers as a kid. I think about this because I've been going through my storage unit today. Got a storage unit, a bunch of crap. It's followed me from house to house. I finally settled in my house here. And they're about to raise the rent, believe this or not, $100. Storage unit space. Can you believe that? $100. I mean, come on. What are they smoking? I know prices are going up around everywhere, but I mean, you know, your service is not changing. You know, I'm not getting any extra benefits. It's not like you're serving me coffee when I show up. You know, what's the extra $100 for? And I mean, I guess it really is just probably their rent. Haha, gotcha. Haha. Smart. Coming around me. Got the hang of this track now, I think. Well, it's dangerous to say that. What's back there? Better to force yourself to a stop than going off the track, because you'll likely pull a penalty. That's number one. That slows you down when you're trying to pass these guys down the field. Little penalties, gumming up the works. Also believing it takes significantly more time to get yourself back on the track. It's always exceedingly difficult. Sometimes it's sand, sometimes there's some sort of like a lip beyond the track that you can't even really see until you go over it, and then you go flying off because it adds momentum as you're coasting off the track. Dirty. Well, I mean, it was a clean overtake on his part, but for me, came out of nowhere. Come on. Ah. Well, good on him. Good Boogs. Good job, Boogs. Not bad for me, though. Could be better. Boogs was driving the RS01. Not familiar with that. Not sure what that is. Is that a Renault? Or not sure what that is. A lot of Porsches in this. See, they're driving the Italian. That's I have the Italia is what I've got. I've got the Italia GR4 that I race from the GR4s. I don't have the Italia GR3 in my number 3 is who has it here. If you're looking at this, the 458 Italia GT3. I want to drive that because I have the GR4 version of it. It's a great car. I love it. So I wonder if this one's any good. I haven't tried it at all though. You know, when you find a car that works on these daily races, oh, I got a clean race bonus. That's nice. Very cool. I tried very hard. Looks like I was successful. By the way, you're listening to Nick's Racing Channel Late Night. I'm here for all your late night topics. Not really, but you can chat with me. But yeah, I'm enjoying this live broadcasting through the PlayStation. Going to keep up probably a few more races here. I'm going to keep trying to qualify on this one here. But once you find a car that you really like, for me, in the GR3 races, it's the Audi. I've tried. I have a couple of different ones that I own. You can see here. I've got this Skyline. This was a legend car that I recently bought. I've got the GT500 Supra. And these both here, these two legend cars were expensive. I've got the Viper. They're all great cars. The McLaren, I love the McLaren. I keep kind of going back and forth. Let's try the McLaren actually. That might be a good try here. Let's try this. We got to go for the hard tires, and I'm gonna jack up my differential a little bit here. Let's see. This is exactly what I did on the other one. I said, screw it. Let me just max it out. Let's see what happens. To be honest, on the Audi at least, I didn't really. I thought maybe it would make the car unstable somehow, or change the way it was handling the corners. It didn't. I mean, it was. I could tell that in the race I had a little bit more oomph against the other drivers. I'll say that, but it didn't really add that much on my. I mean, I didn't get a better qual. I mean, I did. Like I said, I shaved 4 seconds off my qualifying time. That was great, but I don't know if it was just. I think that was more about learning the track, not about changing the differential, but who knows. Now this will be the McLaren once it loads, not the Audi, so totally different vehicle, and it sounds cooler on the inside. The one cool thing about having the sim racing rig, and I've got some nice speakers facing me, so it sounds like it's like the engine's on the front of the car right here in front of me. I've gone for as good of a full immersion situation as I can get in this extra bedroom of mine. But anyway, the McLaren sounds cool. But when you're inside the car, in this POV I mean, you can hear the engine as if you were sitting in it. This POV is actually designed for the PlayStation VR, which I have not tried. I do want to get the PS5. I'm running off the PS4. I'm almost refused to get the PlayStation 5 because it's just like, what's the point? Is there really any better games? I mean, this is the same game on PS4, so. But however, I didn't really think about the fact that you have the VR2, and it's cool for Gran Turismo. If you're willing to wear that. I mean, I'm already sitting in a sim rig here in this chair, locked in this cockpit. So putting on additionally a VR helmet, I don't know. It's hard to say. But I mean, you know, it would be neat because sitting in this cockpit here, you can look all the way around it, and you can hear if I just kind of switch my view. But with the VR headset, you can look around the cockpit as if you're sitting in it. So that is something I'd like to try. It was hard enough getting used to just using the wheel. Way slower. 210. Now I'll get faster as I figure out how to handle this car on the track, but my first lap with the Audi was 208, 2 seconds slower. if you're gonna ask me what my favorite car to drive is in GT7, it's the McLaren series. I mean, really all of them. There's a GR1 McLaren that's a hybrid car that's a ton of fun to drive, and it's super cool looking on the inside too. All digital glass screen. It's like you're in a fighter jet. Is what it looks like. This McLaren, the GR4 version of the McLaren, there is I think a 91 McLaren that's a legend car. I haven't been able to get yet. I've been waiting for that to come on the legend car market so I can go buy it. But that's my favorite one to drive. So if you want to go on the GR3 races here and do an event specified car, the very last one that you can rent, quote unquote, is the McLaren. I'm driving the 650S right now, which is very similar to it, but the one that they have on their garage is a different year model. This is a 2015 here. I'm pretty sure it's a 91. Maybe it's a 90 something. But anyway, it's faster, or at least it's more fun to drive. It sounds fast. See, the engine's louder. So the POV that I use, you're sitting inside the car, and especially because I've got the speakers right in front of me, facing at me, so it's tuned audically as if I'm sitting in a car. But anyway, it's when you're in the inside POV, you can hear the engine better, like you're actually sitting in it. It's very cool. So some of these cars, that's one thing that's very cool about driving the WRX. Even though I find it to be kind of slow. I mean, in a rally it's fine, but on the road courses, there's just not a lot of acceleration. But it's just got that like real metallic growling, gear shifting sound, like the Chevy drivers love, right? So that's one of the fun things. Yeah, I got the BP livery here on my McLaren, but that's one of the fun things about driving the different vehicles on GT7 is hearing what they sound like on the inside. And often you think they're faster than they are just because they sound loud and enticing. Like the Nissan GTR, everybody's in love with that right now because of the Gran Turismo movie, which I love that movie. Great movie. But in game, the car's fine. In fact, it's a muscle car. I mean, it's got a lot of power. But like all these big engine cars, the Corvette being one of them, the Viper being one of them, they just don't have a ton of acceleration. They got a wide wheelbase, so they can take turns pretty well. And if somebody hits you, which is always a problem, especially in the multiplayer mode. See, look, people just wrecking everywhere. It's ridiculous. Look at this. It's crazy. Racing etiquette's a big thing in sim racing. Please, if you're going to get into sim racing, spend some time learning the etiquette. It's easy to do. Just watch YouTube. Plenty of people live stream now, racing, so you can watch what the pros are doing. He almost got me. And that is a GR3 Beetle. I saw that guy for the first time today. Have not driven that car either. One thing I'll say about the Gran Turismo movie, though, is that she says, in the film, she says, when in doubt, throttle out. I disagree. When in doubt, downshift. Rapidly, in an excessive manner. Because that accomplishes two things. I've talked about this a couple of times, but, I've got nothing else to talk about on this. It's a physics lesson driving these cars, right? When you're downshiifting, You're slowing the vehicle and rotating it also at the same time. Rotating it up. Both things you just kind of remember. You're slowing the vehicle and rotating it without taking the momentum directly out of the vehicle. You're leaving the momentum in the transmission gearbox, right? When you brake, which you obviously have to do, I'm not suggesting not to brake. It's a combination of the two. But when you brake, you just automatically take the momentum right out of the vehicle, right? So when in doubt, downshift rapidly. You're going to accomplish the goal of correcting your mistake. Likely is probably why you're in doubt. Let's say you probably made a mistake, and before you brake, because when you brake, you're also going to rapidly shift the direction of the car. It's going to unbalance your position. And you're not doing that when you're downshift. Aha! See, if you just kind of stay out of the melee in these races and hold the line, right? Like, that's the main thing. Hold the line. Other than all the time. Everybody else is going to screw up in front of you, and you can usually come out with crap. See, all these stupid penalties. That's the other part about learning these tracks. It's so important to know where you're going to pull the penalty, where can you skip the line if you need to. Oh, no. I guess that was a good example right there. I just made a mistake. So I rapidly downshifted. I gotta decelerate here at this penalty line coming up. I don't know where it is. It sucks because I'm trying to catch this guy. not talking much because I'm concentrating. I don't think I'm gonna catch him. No. Nope. Still don't have that last turn down good enough. Well, oh well. That's why you keep doing it over and over again, right? You can never give up on this stuff, because it just... somebody's always doing better than you, dadgummit. But I'm gonna do some more races. So, I mean, you know, if you want to hang out, I'm still here to do it. Chat with me. But this is Nick's Racing Channel. Late night. Late night because I'm Nick at night. You know, I was actually Nick at night in college. I was a radio DJ in college. And I was Nick at night on AM radio. It was a lot of fun. Also called some college games. All kinds of stuff in college on the radio. Done some podcasting, so forth. So this is right up my alley, doing this, just chatting while I'm racing constantly, because, you know. So I guess my question is, do I waste my... Because the McLaren drove better. Okay, it did drive better than the Audi, and that was a fun race. I had a good time with that. So I could go for it again. The problem is I know that the Audi's a little bit faster. And see, I have these other ones I could try too. The GT's just not fast. This is another one I was talking about. That it's like it's got a giant engine in this thing. And you can see it's got... well, actually, it doesn't have as much horsepower as the McLaren or the Audi, which is interesting. But anyway, the Supra and the Skyline have way more horsepower. But I'll drive the Supra. Let's drive the Supra. You can see for yourself. Can't ever remember. It's hard. It's hard with tires. These daily races have specific tires, so I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna max out the differential again. I'm doing this. I don't really see a huge difference in performance. I would expect that adding a significant amount of torque would cause it to spin out, especially when you're turning right. But I really can't even tell that I adjusted anything. I don't know that you're actually adjusting anything in these tunings on the daily races, okay? I'm only talking about the daily races. Because obviously when you make adjustments in the tunings in the regular game, you're playing the AI and so forth, it's very obvious the change that's being made in the car, the performance, the acceleration, whatever it is you change, you can see it very directly. I mean, it's a very good simulator. But in the daily races, I just don't, and maybe it's because I'm racing other people, and they're just also good. Like they're just that, it's just that much different than racing the AI. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't see any difference when I change. And the only thing you can change, by the way, on the daily races is the differential and the suspension. So you can't do any. You can't change what turbocharger you're using, or whether or not what brakes you can't do any of that changes. All you can do is change the amount of torque, acceleration, your brake sensitivity, and then your suspension, which you can change. Okay, so let's try the Supra. Now I have maxed it out. The Supra's fun to drive, but even with 780 horsepower as compared to the 740 horsepower on the Audi, it just doesn't seem like it's as fast. It doesn't perform as well. And the McLaren is just a beauty to drive in general. I mean, it's so forgiving in turns. That's something else about the Audi. I mean, it's not that stable in corners. You really kind of have to be careful handling the Audi. But the McLaren is super forgiving, in my opinion, at least. This Supra, you can tell. It's got all that power right up front. It just wants to pull itself around real easy. And I think I spent 3 million credits on this stupid car. It's a cool looking car. It was a legend car. That's what was so fun. There it is. There's multiple places in this game, if you're not familiar with the game itself, which I think will give you a little bit. I've explained before that the only POVs I use when I'm using my wheel, which I'm exclusively racing the wheel now. I have an actual sim rig now. But I've played Gran Turismo, by the way, since day one. I mean, 1997, this thing came out. I was 8 years old. How old was I? No, I wasn't 8 years old. What am I talking about? 11 years old. It came out when I was 11, sorry. See, I'm losing my mind. I won't qualify this time. But the point being, I played it since the very beginning, and I only more recently started using a racing wheel. I'm a little ashamed to admit. I've just never tried one. I always use a controller. I never really thought about it. Also never really had the space. Or, I wasn't an adult, so I didn't have expendable cash. I could just buy a sim rig. But anyway, it's definitely a superior game when you're using a wheel pedal. It's definitely way better than that. But when you're using that sort of thing as opposed to a controller, for example, when you're using a controller, I just use the standard third person view over top of the car. But it might sound nerdy or snobby to say that, like, when you're using a wheel, you really need to have the POV that's inside the vehicle. But it throws you off. I mean, if you're using the third-person view with the wheel, it really, because your mind is, your brain's visual, right? So, like, you're sort of, this thing is such a good simulator, you're sort of tricking yourself into thinking that you're actually driving this car. So you need to be in the vehicle in your visual, or it really throws off your perception. That being said, there's 3 POVs that are inside, and one is just a screen of the track. Like, that's all it is, right? I've noticed that a lot of streamers use that, and I think that might be to make it better for the audience. I've only just recently started broadcasting, having a lot of fun doing it. Love to take your comments or suggestions. But I think it's better for the audience when you have just that wide open view, or the one that I was just showing, which is just the hood, right? You're kind of a camera on the windshield, I guess. The audience can see more of the track. But I really like the inside of the car best. I can't use all that to say I can't use the screen that doesn't show any part of the car. I have to have that spatial recognition. Otherwise, I can't tell where I am, so I have a hard time when I'm going around other cars, or especially if I'm taking a tight turn. I really want to know where the side of my vehicle is. And that's why I like to be literally inside the car where you can see the hands, because that lets you feel like you know, one of the things I like to do is really align myself when I'm driving with the side of the car that I'm on, right? Like I know that I'm basically against the side of the car, so I can judge where the side of the car is based off of that. So that's why I like to be in the car, in the car. Because even when you're driving on the right-hand side, which a lot of these Japanese cars here in the game, you're right-hand driving. Even with that, you just kind of line yourself up with the right-hand turns. It just makes it, for me, I gotta have that spatial recognition. That's the main thing. Alright, so, the Autodrome Lago Maggiore. Although it's only 5 laps, said it a few times, kind of bugs me that there's only 5 laps, because it takes so long to get into this racing cycle. I mean, I'm in the cycle now, so once you're in it, after a race ends, you've got, I think it's 3 or 4 minutes before the next one that you can go qualify. So you can get 1, maybe 2 laps in of qualifying for the next race. But even with that, right, like the last race was, what time is it now? 2:52. I think I started the last race at 2:11. Wasn't it 2:11? If you're listening, you can let me know in the comments, but I think it was 2:11. Also, let me know what's your preference. Do you like, which POV do you like? Do you like this one? You can see the hood. Do you prefer it as an audience perspective? Because, I mean, again, I've explained the driver's perspective. I do like this one a lot because, like I said, when you're shifting up or down, you know, you're rotating the vehicle. And this particular view really allows you to see how much you've rotated the vehicle. Because you can tell from the hood. Kind of shifting right or left. So kind of a cheat, actually, I think. So you can sort of tell when you can stop down. If you're using downshifting to brake right into a corner, so sort of right there, you can kind of see the turn there. So you can kind of use that as a judge of where to make your actual turn. I don't know what this one's doing. You gotta watch out for those jokers. You never know what they're doing. It's like real life driving. I feel like I'm actually driving around. You know. Look at this idiot. I mean, what are you doing? My question is, I want to know what's going on his side of the screen. Right? Is he drunk? Because it looks like it. I mean, it's seriously. Are you using a controller? Is that the problem? You're still stuck on the directional path. You haven't upgraded, let's say, to the joysticks. Because my friend, if you're using a controller to play Gran Turismo and you have not upgraded to the joysticks, at least you don't have to have a wheel, right? I'm not gonna be a snob here. You don't have to have a wheel, but you got to at least go with the joystick, my friend. I don't mind this POV either. I guess I just like the inside of the car because it just makes you, it's full immersion, right? I gotta get used to talking and driving. You know, don't text and sim race. That's really what the billboard should say. Because I don't have any issues talking, texting, whatever, when I'm literally driving. When I'm sim racing, there's no way. I mean, I've got a video on in my phone next to me here, and if I want to change it, I'm out of luck. You know, mid race. Although it is a really neat feature if you hit pause or the options button. Mid race, Gran Turismo will take over the auto drive for you. Up to, I think, 15 seconds. I haven't tried it for very long. It will also kick you out of the game if you do it for too long. But it's a neat little feature, like if you gotta adjust or, you know, whatever. Dog steps on your controller cord or, you know, whatever, right? If something happens, you just kind of hit start, and it won't totally ruin your game, you know, your race. I always think the helicopters are funny on this game. You see them off in the distance. I know it's supposed to be probably, you know, the news or the people filming the race, let's say. That's what it's supposed to be. But they never seem to be in, like, a very good position to film any actual part of the race. They're just sort of off in the distance. So it just kind of seems like, I don't know, they're military helicopters or something, running some sort of drill. I don't know what's going on. One of the best ones is the Daytona road course, because Daytona is not ever driven down there. The airport is literally next to 95, so when you're driving in Florida on the way to, let's say, Orlando, I-4 is literally right there. So if I say if you're going to Orlando, you never is. But the airport, the Daytona airport, is right, like, planes land over top of that. And it's really cool, kind of cool to drive through there. But anyway, that's right next to the Daytona Raceway too. So it's fun. Here on GT7, they actually have planes the entire time you're racing that track. You see the planes landing and taking off from the airport, because it's literally next door. Pretty cool. It's a flight school. It's kind of a big flight school for aviators down there. A lot of Air Force folks go there too. Wobbly there, my friend. This is the Supra, Super GT 500 that I'm racing. Honestly, not my favorite car. Although, it's not doing bad. It just doesn't. It doesn't handle great. The primary question is, how much effort do you have to put into taking turns, right? How much you brake in? You know, obviously the gold standard when you drive a Formula 1 car, you don't have to really brake at all. You just take it full throttle. You know, so take that as 10, and 1 being, you know, a Corvette, which has no turning radius at all. You know, kind of weight your car somewhere on that scale. A track like this, you need a car that's up there with like a 7 or above, turning, taking those turns. It already does that, for sure. So I'm really having a break like that. There's a helicopter. So I mean, he's in a good spot there to probably film some of this, I guess. But I don't know. I think it's a neat addition. You know, it's something fun to add to the game and make it feel a bit more realistic, I guess. But my complaint would be, you know, when you go into the pit here, you know, I'm using the POV from the inside of the car, right? But when you go into the pit, it throws you outside of the car and you see everyone doing the pit work around it. They never bothered to animate that same video from the inside of the car. So we've got helicopters flying around that are, you know, supposed to be the film crew or whatever they are. But when you go into the pit, you don't get to stay, from a POV perspective, you don't get to stay inside the car and see the people working around you. I don't know. That's a nitpick. This game company gets, you know, a blank check every decade from Sony to design this game. So I feel like I should be able to nitpick a little bit. It's fine. You know, do better. Polyphony. Polyphony? I don't know how to say it. Polyphony? Whatever it is. That's the company. But anyway, I mean, it's just an arm of Sony, really. Yeah, there's like 8 well on full on this one. It's also stupid because, you know, this race started out with 15 people or so, and, you know, 5 dropped out, obviously, or 3 dropped out, I guess. Or no, it looks like 11 and 12 didn't finish. I don't know if they dropped out too or not, but anyway, there's always a lot of people that drop out, so like, you know, it just makes it look like towards the end, like you didn't finish as high as you did. Because there's less people when you finish. Okay, so I didn't like the Supra. I don't. I mean, I've gone back to it a few times. It doesn't handle great, you know. You know, maybe let me know your thoughts, but I think I'm just going to go back to the Audi because tried and true. And right, true. Making sure my mic is still working. It is. That's good. It's a weird setup that I've got going on here. I've got the headset plugged in because I'm getting a camera. Actually, it should be here today, later today, from Amazon. You have to use the PlayStation camera. There you go. 4 minutes. I also have the Supra. 2018 racing concept. Now, I have not driven that one in a while. Skyline. It's a cool car. It's a really cool car. But yeah, we'll try it. Why not? Okay. This will probably be the last race I do before I go to bed. It is 3 o'clock here. Good Lord. I have stayed up till 3 in the morning. Nick's Racing Channel late night. Glad you've joined me. I'm taking your calls and your questions. Doing it night, doing it all right. No, wait. Doing it right, doing it all night? Whatever. You get the picture. We're doing it right all night. That's what we're doing. Not really. Actually, this is probably going to be the last race. But I'm going to try to qualify. I'm going to try to, well, actually, I probably won't add any time to my qualifying time here because I know that this car is not as good as the Audi. I set the record with the Audi. Go back inside. You can see how cool it is on the inside. This is a 90 something Skyline. This is also a legend car. It's also fun to see his hand go down. Like I said, in the VR, you can actually see your own digital legs, and you can see your hand doing that shifting because you can look down and see it. It's always fun when the wheels on the interior of the car actually have the paddle shifters, because that's what I've got. That's what I'm, obviously using here, is the paddle shifters. A lot of the cars have little paddle shifters, so you see the hands doing the shifting as you're doing it. But in this case, it's an older car, so he's reaching down to shift, and you can't see it. So, I don't know, too bad. I used to have a podcast called The Late Night Spin with Nick O'Kelly. And my buddy Derek recorded a song for me for the intro. And it would end with him saying, "It's late night with Nick O'Kelly." Yeah, this car's not going to get it done. I mean, look at the 214. It's like a joke. Yeah, it doesn't matter now. I'm going to start the race. Okay, well, I have to be honest. I don't have a lot of faith in this race going very well. Yeah, I mean, it's just not a very fast car. I don't like it. It cost me so many credits. I had to save up for a little while to buy this stupid thing. I bought it because there is a race series on the game that I have yet to beat. It's a classics car. Alright, no, it's not a class. What is it called? New class? It's new classics, something like that. But anyway, it has to be a car between, I think, 1980 and 2000 in the game. And it is one of the races is on that. Oh, I can't think of the name of the track, but it's like a desert track. And if you go off the track, you go sailing off into the desert. It's awful. So you really got to stay on the track in that race, and it's tough. It's hard, especially with cars that don't handle well, and the cars that are in that era don't handle well in this game. They tend to seem to like the cars from the 80s and the 90s on this game. So that's why I had that GT500 Supra. That's why I've got this Skyline. I've been going to the Legend cars I'm waiting on that McLaren. I want to get that McLaren that's a 90s model McLaren. And maybe I can win that series with that. But I tried it with this one here, this car here that you're seeing. My mellow yellow car. It's a cool car. It's a cool looking car. And on paper, it should be. I'm getting tired. It should be very fast, but it's not. it's not. It's not fast at all. Okay, here we go. See. Spun me around. Okay, so you know what? That is the first time I have seen I maxed out the torque on the differential. That is the first time I've seen it actually impact one of these vehicles. Because coming around that turn with max torque at full throttle, it's just spinning me right out. That's what's going on. I thought someone, see, right there, I thought someone was pulling me out. It was my fault. Well, that's another reason I don't like this car, because I didn't have that issue with the Audi. Or the McLaren. The McLaren was smooth. Now everybody else has dropped down, so I'm last place. Hey, it happens. I mean, it happens, you know. Yeah, I race a lot of these daily races, and if you wreck, you know, Been out like that on lap 1. I gotta ease the throttle in on gear 1. Keep it from spinning me out. That was terrible. Now I kinda got the hang of the car on the track. But when you have to be this careful with a car, I'm not trying to. It's no good. You can see that I'm just losing time, but there's no chance of catching me at all. I'm only going to finish the race just to get the moment. I can understand people dropping out of a race, of the 11 lap races or whatever. But on a 5 lap race, again, it takes so long to qualify and sit here and wait on the race to start and all that. It's just so much of your time. Might as well do it. Finish it. It's only a couple laps. Credits. Is it humiliating finishing last? Yeah, sure. It happens to me all the time. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just do it. Don't be a wimp. Be a loser, like a man. Come drive with me, let's drive away. It does feel like a Sunday drive. Here on your left, you'll see a random resort hotel. No idea what it is, but you're welcome to look it up. Maybe you can stay there someday. On your right is a man who would be waving a flag if I wasn't the last person finishing the race. As cool as this car looks on the inside, it is a dud. Yeah, I've yet to find a better GR3 car than the Audi. It's just the best one. Well, ladies and gents, this has been Nick's Racing Channel at night. I think I'm going to have to call it a night because I'm pretty tired and I can only take defeat so many times in a row. Should not have ended with that stupid Skyline. I don't know what I was thinking, but you know, it's fine. I will be back tomorrow for more racing and enjoyment for yourself. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me till late in the evening. Glad you could join me. Next time you join me, you know, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know what you think. How's it going? You know, what'd you enjoy watching, or what'd you enjoy seeing? What car do you want to see next time? I'm going to keep broadcasting these because, you know, I figure, why not? So, anyway, thanks a lot for joining, and we'll see you next time for Late Night on Nick's Racing Channel.